Good morning.
Morning.
And welcome to Let's Be Frank. I'm a bit nasally today. I've got my med lemon. So I wanted to talk a little bit about something that came up in our PsyCan, what's it called? Leadership Alchemy workshop.
Yeah.
And it was the concept of glass balls, which they used as an analogy for when you're juggling many things. Which ones can you allow to fall? And obviously the glass balls can't fall because they'll break. So I was just thinking about what are glass balls, both in our work environment and then in our personal lives, and then what happens when you have work glass balls and personal glass balls.
Well, you always, I think you always have.
Exactly. So kind of which one then takes priority if you're juggling those two, and
Well, for one, my view about work and life.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Work is part of life.
Yeah.
So for me, you can't separate the two.
Yeah.
And you will always have those glass balls that you have to juggle that relate to work.
Yeah.
And others that don't relate to work.
Relate to health or
whatever it is, yeah. But I mean, your health is extremely important to your work.
Yeah.
So you can't say health is not work.
Yeah. And your car. Having a car to get to work.
Correct. But so I don't like that distinction between
work balls and personal balls.
Well, if you look at it from the individual's perspective.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said earlier, work is just part of life. So if you look at it from the individual's perspective, you just have a whole lot of balls that you have to juggle. And which ones are glass and which ones are rubber. Whether they have a little label on them that says work or not work.
Yeah.
It's almost irrelevant.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think about what would help you decide which is a glass ball and which is a rubber ball.
Yeah.
I think one of the reasons why we think of some of the work, there are obviously many reasons why it would be a glass ball, but I think in our context, a lot of the time it comes down to, well, what is my role that I'm playing and how does it affect the rest of the team?
Yeah.
So if it's something that you can do in isolation, then it would be okay to put this ball down for a while, juggle the others, and then come back to this one.
Yeah. But if it affects everyone else.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is that one of the complexities that you?
Yeah.
And how do you handle that?
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the question that I'm asking, and it's not just that. I think I've been thinking a lot from more of a personal or at-home point of view, which, as you say, affects work, so you can't really separate the two. But there's lots of things that I put off for a very long time because, and we've spoken about time before, you feel like you don't have the time and there's too much going on and things like that. And it's just kind of knowing when is an appropriate time to slot those things into a work cycle or work, if you're working on a project and I need to go have blood tests, or I'm doing this and I need to get new tires for my car, or when is it an appropriate time to deal with those things, especially when you're working in a team and you not being there affects everyone, not just you. You don't have an answer for me, eh?
No, from my perspective, it's all very logical. So can I call bullshit on I don't have time?
Not having time, I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's get that out of the way. It's the time thing. We've spoken about it, and we know that we often use that as an excuse.
Yeah.
To just kick the can.
Yeah.
But it comes down to the severity, I suppose. I mean, you mentioned tires for your car, and you mentioned blood tests.
That I've been putting off for a year.
Immediately I'm thinking, well, the blood test should be more important. But then I think, well, you know what, if your tires are really shot and it is not safe for you to drive.
Yeah.
Like,
and not having a spare for my car because I've been driving on the spare for about 2 months.
oh my word, okay.
So this is actually an Ali problem.
So you're sorting out your priorities as we go along.
This is an Ali problem.
But yeah, for me personally, these things come down to what are the priorities and where can I slot them in.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think that there are many situations where we really have to put any of those things off because we don't have time, or because we can't get the team together and say, hey guys, I need I don't know, an hour or 2 hours and schedule this. And the way that I always look at this is if your car won't start this, I don't know, on a particular day, and you only get to the office, I don't know, 2 hours later, which is completely unplanned, and it's not something that you can put on your little list of, well, I must make time for this. It's shit happens. I mean, all the time we get it right to work around those things.
Yeah.
If it affects the rest of the team, if you had a meeting that was scheduled during that time, something that had to happen, I don't know, it's a message or a phone call, and it may not always be convenient. But I don't know, can you think of one example in the last, I don't know, 6 months where you say, you know what, somebody had a situation that they had to deal with and that thing really cost us?
Yeah.
Or is it just kind of, it happens and then we deal with it and move on?
Yeah, usually that.
So why do we complicate?
Yeah, I think we do complicate it ourselves.
It's not complicated for me.
But so there's a difference. I don't want to bring like hierarchy into it and that, but you don't have anyone to kind of run it by necessarily.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
But what I mean is no one's going to question you if you say, I have to go and get new tires for my car now.
It's not about questioning anybody.
Yeah.
It is about, what is your responsibility? So I have more people that I have to think of than anybody else.
Fair enough.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
This has got nothing to do with hierarchy. It is about, well, who are the people that you affect?
Yeah.
But I promise you, if I have a toothache, I'm going to get that appointment at the dentist as soon as possible.
Oh gosh, that's another thing to add to my list.
So if I'm sick, I'm going to make sure that I get that sorted out.
Yeah.
There are things that you can schedule at a more convenient time. But the way that I think about it is, if I'm here, I'm going to be as productive as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And if there's something
nagging,
or something that takes away from my focus, my ability to support the rest of the team in the way that I should, then I'm going to take care of that.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
And I think if everybody kind of adopts that viewpoint.
Yeah. So personally, and you know this about me, is I start worrying about things, and then I feel like they're all piling up, and it's kind of crushing me because there's so many little things. And it often helps to talk to someone like you or to someone about what are your things, and have someone else's perspective about what what to prioritize, or what is actually a glass ball right now, and what might become a glass ball if you don't deal with it now, even though it might not seem like a big problem, and things like that, just so that you can kind of get everything in some kind of structured list that you can then go through.
So do you have, so when these things start piling up, before you get to that point of having a conversation with someone about it, do you actually have a list?
I've done it a few times in the past when I do start feeling overwhelmed about all the many things I have to do.
Does that help?
It does help.
Okay. Yeah, I think it helps.
Because you can also cross them off as
Yeah.
you do them and see that it gets a bit smaller, but then you add to it as well. Go back to the beginning.
It definitely helps to
Yeah.
make that list of things and then look at those things and say, which of these things are
Yeah.
important?
Yeah.
Why are they important? And give them a priority.
Yeah. That's something that I've never been very good at, is giving a deadline to things. Because I was just thinking, if you have dates, then you know exactly how long you have before you have to get these things done.
I think that's another subject that come up quite often, because a lot of what we do, we rely on the individuals to tell us
Yeah.
when something will be done by. So those dates and those deadlines are often things that we come up with ourselves or as a team. Obviously based on how long certain activities will take or certain tasks will take.
Yeah.
So they're kind of self-imposed.
Yeah.
And we do that to the best of our ability, and we also know that life will happen.
Right. Yeah.
Life will happen,
Yeah.
and things will get complicated. Or, if we're lucky, we'll finish something ahead of schedule, and that's also okay.
Yeah.
For me, it's about what are the priorities? What are the things that I have to deal with? What are the consequences of me not dealing with it?
Yeah.
That's where we often bullshit ourselves. We do it when we don't take care of ourselves in the way that we should. Because how did the concept of the glass balls and the rubber balls fit into the bigger picture here? It's about, you have to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
If you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else.
Yeah.
And if you don't take care of yourself, you can't do your job properly. You can't excel the way that you should.
We'll get into that genius state. Well.
Yeah. So lots of things. I mean, it is extremely important that we look after ourselves. In all aspects of our lives, to be able to contribute in the way that we want to and should contribute.
Yeah.
That's probably the one area where most people neglect.
Yeah. Because you think everything else is so much more important.
Yeah. It's much more important to make this deadline.
Yeah.
My kidneys can worry about themselves, as an example,
Yeah.
Until those things catch up with you.
Yeah.
And that's
And
what
they do, unfortunately.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
I think I used the analogy before about, if the little red light in my car comes on and it says it needs oil, I'm not going to just stop and put more air in the tires and go, well, you know what, that's all I can have time for now.
Yeah.
And we're generally good with that.
Yeah.
Because we value the car, and it doesn't have to be a car, it can be anything that you value.
Yeah.
You take care of it and you look after it. I think Jordan Peterson, rule 2 of the 12 rules of life is where he talks about, how we take care of our pets.
Yeah.
the vet says the dog must get the tablet, you'll make sure that, but we don't do it for ourselves. So really having that awareness of the importance of looking after yourself first.
Yeah.
And yourself, health is number one, and the things that contribute to that health. So the baseline things that we talk about so often about
eat, sleep, and exercise.
Eat, sleep, exercise, and there's recovery or rest, which is not the same as sleep. We need some of that as well. But to prioritize those things.
Yeah.
So I'm not advocating sitting in the gym 4 hours of the day and saying, well, you know what, I'm not going to get to work because my health is more important. You obviously have to strike that balance.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have a problem with people not being able to do that. But when you say priorities and you say I don't have the time, I think it's a question of evaluating.
Yeah.
Do I really not have the time, or is it something that I feel like, I don't want to deal with it now?
Yeah. Cool. Well, thank you. That was a little bit about glass balls. I'll go sort mine out now. Thank you for watching. See you next week.
Thanks. See you next week.